I love all these quick fun projects that add something extra to my house in Christmas time. It is cheap and easy to do, so for those of you that are maybe new to HTV, this is a great project for you to try. My name is Kelly Rossouw, and let's get clacking. So for this project, you're going to need a tea towel. I would recommend having a cotton tea towel, as heating colored polyester can cause that color, or the dye, to change the way that your HTV looks. You're going to need some HTV, and I'm using Crafts HTV. I am going to be using 2 different colors, so if you want to make it a little bit more difficult for yourself, so then this is a great thing to try. You're also going to need a heat press. I'm going to be using the Easy Press 3, but you can also use the Easy Press Mini or even your own household iron if you don't have one of those. This is the perfect project to try that kind of thing on. I'm going to be using my Cricut Maker 3, but you can use any one of your Cricut machines for this project. You will also need some type of a heat-resistant mat. Now, I'm going to be using the Cricut Easy Press mat, but you can also use a silicone mat or even a towel if you don't have one of those. I also recommend using Teflon sheet, but you can also use butcher paper, silicone paper, and some baking papers as well. Please don't use wax paper, as wax melts under heat and you may ruin your garment or your press. An additional extra that you may need is heat-resistant tape. Now, heat tape is specially formulated tape that can withstand heat, so you can't use just any tape. But in many cases, you might not even need this. So depending on the design and how you've set it up, it's an optional extra. Now, the design that we're going to be using is from Creative Fabrica. They have millions of different designs, and I genuinely use them all the time, so that's why I recommend them to you guys. They are having a Black Friday sale at the moment where the annual subscription is only $47. So check the link below to be able to get that deal, and if you already have a subscription, you can still use that link to add on an extra year. Now, the actual bundle that I'm going to be using is this Kitchen Towels SVG bundle, and I'm just going to download it and then open the zip file once it's finished downloading. I'm then going to select the folder and save it to my device where I can access it in a moment. Once I've saved it to my computer, I'm going to go to Cricut Design Space and I'm going to open a new canvas. And I'm going to upload my design to Design Space by clicking Upload in the bottom left-hand corner, Upload Image, and then search for the image to add into Cricut Design Space. I'm going to be uploading the SVG because that's always the best file to upload. You see there it says .svg. Then it's just a simple flat file and we don't have to worry about removing the background of anything or having pixelated images. SVG files are always your best file type to use. I don't have to do anything else now and I can just click Upload. I'm then going to click on the baking Christmas cheer and add it to my canvas. Now, this design is way too big for what I want. I want my design around 15 centimeters, so I'm going to decrease the size quite a bit and move it up to the middle of my screen. Be careful about making an intricate design like this a little bit too small, especially if you are new to HTV. HTV is a lot more forgiving than other mediums when it comes to the size, but if this is one of your first projects, then maybe choosing something that has a little bit less detail is a better option for you. There are lots of designs on Creative Fabrica that you can choose from that will maybe have a little bit less detail for you to use if this is one of your first projects. The next thing we need to make sure of is that our design is all attached to each other. Now, if I just had to select this design and hit attach, it would change the layer colors to all be one layer or one color. So if you want to cut this just out of one color, then you absolutely can do that. But I want to cut this out of 2 different colors, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to click the undo button and I'm going to color code this one into 2 different colors. So I'm going to select the whole design and then click ungroup in the top right hand corner. And from here I can select the individual elements in the layers panel to make sure that I have the right things selected. So all of the red elements I want to select together. So I'm going to select the red ones and I'm going to hold Shift on my keyboard to be able to select another element. And once I have all of the elements selected that I want to cut in silver, I'm going to combine and weld those together so that it makes up only one layer. I'm going to select that layer and change the color so that I can see kind of what my tea towel is going to look like. In the top left-hand corner, there's a little block, a black block, next to the words basic cut. So I'm going to click on that block and I'm going to change it to silver. Then the rest of the elements that we have on the canvas, I'm going to cut out of gold. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the layers panel because it's easier working from the bottom up. It doesn't keep taking you then to the top of the layers. So I'm going to start selecting the layers. And once I have everything selected, I'm going to do the same as what I did with the other layer. I'm going to hit combine and weld. Like I said, this changes it into one layer so that it's very easy to work with. And from there, I'm going to again select that layer and then change the color from black to orange, which I suppose kind of looks a little bit like gold, so that I can get a feel of what my design is going to look like. And I'm more than happy with that. So I'm going to hit save and I'm going to give the project a name. Christmas tea towel. Or baking Christmas cheer tea towel. And I'm going to add it to my Christmas collection and click save. I find it's very important to save your projects before you cut them, as if anything goes wrong in the cutting stages, then you will lose your project. From here, I'm going to select both of the layers and I'm going to hit flip and flip horizontal. Essentially what this does is when you're cutting HTV, you're cutting into the back. So you need to always make sure that your design is mirrored so that when you turn it over, it then looks correct. I like to mirror my things on the canvas and not on the next stage, especially if you've got multiple layers that you are working with. By doing it on the canvas, you can do everything all at the same time. It also serves as a visual reminder that everything has been mirrored, and you don't have to worry about accidentally missing one matte or one color and then wasting that exact one. And then we're going to hit make. And now we do not select mirror because we've already mirrored it. It is going to cut correctly. So we can just click continue and connect to our machine and then tell it what material we are going to cut. I like to cut my tech wrap vinyl and my HTV on premium vinyl textured metallic. With HTV, you don't have to worry too much about the pressure being a little bit too high like you would with cardstock or vinyl. So always err on the side of a slightly higher cut setting. Now I'm going to load up my HTV onto a green standard grip mat, load it into my machine, press play and watch it cut. Now that both of my designs have been cut and I have cut them down out of the larger sheet, I'm going to weed them. So that means removing the inside section. And I'm going to use my weeding tool to dig it into the corner and just remove the outside so that you can more easily work on weeding the total design. And then we're going to weed on the inside of the design as well and just remove everything that shouldn't be there. If you're struggling to weed any particular part of your design, just use your weeding tool to hold it down and then pull up the rest so that it separates. And then when you are done with the one, you can start with the other. Now that both pieces have been weeded, it is time to turn on the press. So I'm going to turn on the press and I'm going to preheat it to 165 degrees and I'm going to leave the timer on 30 seconds. So while that heats up, I'm going to prep my work surface. I'm going to first of all remove the tag off the tea towel and then lay it out so I know where I want to press. This design fits perfectly in the middle of the tea towel, just like that, and then the baking Christmas cheer will go on top of it, just like that. Now we can't layer it like this and then press, because then the silver part will be pressing onto the backing of the gold, so we have to do it in 2 passes. We're going to press the gold first, and then we're going to press this one. But in order to make sure that the design is perfectly straight and perfectly in the middle, what I like to do is take the base layer that I'm going to press, fold it in half, and get the halfway point. So I'm just pressing the top of the HTV together there. And obviously you do it with the non-sticky sides together. And then with your tea towel, you're going to fold it in half. And we're going to press it out for 2 reasons. Number 1, to remove any moisture that may be in the tea towel. It's a little bit overcast here at the moment, so there probably will be some moisture. And then we're just going to press. It's almost at temperature. So I'm just going to hold it down for 5 seconds or so. So now not only have we released the moisture in the tea towel, and the easy press is going to be ready any second now. There we go. But now we've also got the midpoint of the towel. So we don't have to rely on the manufacturer's layout, because that was, as we can see, wrong. Now we have our own midpoint, and we can line up the tea towel, the design, so that those creases line up with that middle point. And I'm going to tack it down just like that. I'm using my bigger Teflon sheet for this one, and I'm going to press this. And I'm going to press start. We're going to press it for less than 30 seconds because I still need to press the second layer as well. So I'm only going to do about 10 seconds. And I'm going to let that cool for a little bit. What you can do is to place it on something cool, or to place something cool onto it. So if you have a tile or something that can just pull the heat out of the tea towel. And then very carefully we want to remove the carrier sheet. So we're going to do it very slowly. And I always like to hold the base of the actual garment down so that it doesn't stretch. And then from there we can now line up the next section. So this is the baking Christmas cheer. And from here we put the Teflon sheet over again to protect the design. And now I'm going to press it for the full 30 seconds, pressing down on it a little bit so that the design sticks very well. And once again we can flip this over onto something cool to help it cool down. So I'm just putting it on the table, which is quite cool itself. Now, because of the design of this tea towel, the way that it's got very textured material, you'll see how some of the elements are coming up a little bit and have moved a little bit while we took them out. So what I like to do afterwards is to press it again without the carrier sheet. We're just going to put the Teflon over and then just press it again for about 10 seconds. And as this cools down, it will adhere very well to the tea towel. Now yours may look a little bit different because the tea towels all have different grains in them. So if you have a much finer grain tea towel, like more of a cotton type feel, then yours may look a little bit better. So the graininess that you might be able to see on mine is just because of the grain of the actual tea towel, which you can see. But just for a Christmas tea towel, this is absolutely perfect. But if you want to learn how to make Christmas crackers, check out this video on the screen here. It even comes with a template that you can use. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos in the future. And remember, be kind to someone today. See you soon.